Hello everyone, you're welcome to the concluding part of the integration of the Google sign-in into your Android application. I'll be moving straight to my Android Studio where I have the source files, and I'll be taking you through the high-level rundown of how the application is actually being built. And we'll be talking about the XML files, which is the layout, the Java codes, and also the build.gradle module application. All right, let's first of all look at the build.gradle, the module app session. I want us to look at the dependencies, which is very important. We have the support app compared to version 7.23.4.0, and also we have the Android support design 23.4.0. Okay, we have the dependency for Google sign-in, where we talk about the com.google Android GMS Play service. Now this is part of the Google Play service, but now we are streamlining it to the GMS session. That's why we have it this way. So it's calling it 8.3.0. All right. We're also going to look at the UI automator testing. We'll be talking about the test runner 0.5, the test rules 0.5, and also the test UI automator. Where we are going to be calling the automator version 18, release 2.1.2, and also we'll be talking about the support annotation, the support annotations 23.4.0. All these dependencies are very important in the course of compiling the application in the Google in the Gradle scripts. Okay, we have the application ID, the minimum SDK, and the target SDK. All right, that's fine. I'll be looking at the layout files. We'll be talking about the activity chooser and the activity mail XML. First of all, let's look at the activity chooser, which is the main activity or the main XML. Alright, it's a linear layout with the padding, with the layout height and weight match parent. The padding bottom, padding left, padding right, and padding top are 16 dps. It has a list view where we assign an ID to it called list view rather, and the layout width and height is match parent. Okay. I'll be looking at the activity main XML. Okay, the activity main carries a lot of the tags in the UI of the application. It's a linear layout where it's going to be calling on the context sign-in activity Java class. I will give it a background from the color directory, which is the blue-gray. All right, and the orientation is vertical. The layout width and height is match parent, which is that's the parent tag. Now in the linear layout, we have another linear layout with the layout width of match parent and height of 0 dp. Okay, the gravity center horizontal while the rotation is vertical. It has an image view which holds the Google icon. Okay, with the layout width and height of 48 dps, while the margin top bottom is 10 dp and the top to the major layer is 100 dp. So the content description, the content description is Google logo, okay, which is actually calling from the drawable Google G color. We'll be looking at that afterwards. Okay, it's followed by a text view where we assign an ID called title text. Okay, wrap contents for the width and height, and the text is Google sign in quick start. Okay, while we have a text color from the color directory, which is white, and we assign a text size to it, which is 36 XP. Now another text view followed, which is sign out. Okay, it shows the color of white and the wrap content for the layout width and height, and we assign an ID to it called status. Okay, followed afterwards is another text view called detail, where we have to wrap the content with the width and height. It has a face scroll bar which is assigned true, and its gravity is center, and the maximum lines is 5. That's a padding of 10 dp, a scroll bar of vertical. All right, so that ends the linear layout right inside another linear layout. Okay, we have another relative layout after the linear layout. It's actually field parent, and the layout height is 0 dp while the width is 1. Okay, it picks the background from the color blue-gray. Now we have a tag we really want us to look at, which is calling for the Android.gms common sign-in button. All right. Okay, we assign an ID of signing button. So which we're going to be using these IDs very much in the course of the coding. Okay, it's wrap content with a width and height. The center layout in parent is true. While we set the visibility and the visibility tool is gone. It's followed by the linear layout where we assign an ID sign out and disconnect. Okay, that's going to do another functionality there. While we have to fill the parent with the width and wrap the content with the height. And the center parent is true. While its orientation will be horizontal now, not vertical. The padding left and padding right is at 16 dp respectively. The visibility is gone and the visibility is also visible, which is the tool visibility. Right inside this linear layout, we have two buttons. The first button is the sign out button, okay, which holds a text of sign out calling from the theme style overlay, which is the dark button. The second button has assigned an ID called disconnect button, where the layout which is wrap content, and also the text on the button is disconnect, calling from the style theme overlay, the my dark button. We have to close this linear layout. We have to close the corresponding relative layout and also the parent linear layout. So we have two charts, the relative layout and linear layout right inside another linear layout. That's explicit enough. So we'll be moving straight to our Java class. If you notice the drawable, which is from Google. Let's quickly look at the drawable, which is the Google color PNG, as you can see right now. All right. We have from the values, we have the color, the dimension, the strings, which we assign a lot of strings. You know, we assign the sign in, the sign out. Okay. We also did the name signing activity and the description signing activity. You can go through that yourself. Let's look at the Java classes, where we talk about the choose activity, the ID token activity, the server art code activity, the sign activity, and the sign activity with drive. Okay, let's look at the chooser activity, which is like the main activity of this application. Okay, let's try to collapse the imports. Okay, just the normal imports we're always familiar with: the intent, the view group, the adapter, the array adapter, the list view, and also the text view. Okay, the chooser activity extends our compact activity and it implements the adapter view on item click listener. All right. Now we need to declare an array called classes. Let's associate with the new class array, where we are going to hold in the sign-in activity class, the sign-in activity with drive class, and also the ID token stack activity class with the server auth code activity. Now we're going to have another array called distribution IDs, where we're going to hold in the sign-in, sign-out, revoking access, the sign-in, sign-out, revoking access with Google, retrieving an ID token for the user, and demonstrating retrieving an auth code for authorization. Before I continue, we're going to actually have like up to 4 to 5 interface, where we'll be talking about the sign-in activity, where we're going to sign in, sign out, and revoke access. We'll be talking about the sign-in activity with drive. You know, these are different sign-in forms using the Google login. Okay, where we'll be talking about the sign-in, the signing out, and also the revoking access with Google Drive permission. Okay, the ID token activity aspect, if you decide to use that kind of signing, you'll be having the retrieving and the ID token for the user. And the last one, which is the server auth code activity, where we're going to be demonstrating the retrieving and auth code for authorizing your server. Okay, so it depends on the kind of signing you actually want to use in your Android application. So let's move on. We'll set the content view to the layout of activity chooser, where we talked about the activity in XML. So we're going to set a list view and adapter, where we instantiate the list view. We assign an ID based on the ID list view. The same thing we're going to do to the my array adapter. We give it an adapter object. We instantiate with a new keyword and also do the same. So now we're going to set the adapter to the list view based on the adapter object, and also set the item on click listener to our list view, just like you've been saying here. Okay. Whilst we're going to we have the on item click, where we're going to hold on to the adapter generic parent, its view, its position, and also its ID. Okay. We have the click class, where we're going to start an activity based on its intent, calling on the new intent, based on this activity when it's being clicked. That's just what it's going to do. Okay, we have the array adapter that extends the array adapter, passing on the class as its generic. We have three fields: the context, assigned it with the context. We have the class arrays, and we have the description IDs as an array too. Now, the constructor of the array adapter, this is a class where we're going to have the context, the resource, and the object array as the parameters. We're going to call on the super based on the context, the resource, and the objects. Okay, now what we're going to do, we're going to pass in the value of the context to the context. Likewise, the same thing we're going to do to the classes, just like here. All right, that's fine. Also, we have the get view method based on the position, the convert view, and the parent. Okay, we're going to equals the view object from the view class based on the convert view. Now, if the convert view is equals to null, we're going to call on the layout inflator class, and we're going to pass in, going to give it an object called inflator, and we're going to cast in the layout inflator to the context. We're going to get the system service and also pass in the layout inflator service as its parameter. Now the same thing we're going to do to the view, but this time we're going to call on the inflate based on the layout simple list item 2. Okay, which is the R layout. We don't have to tamper with that. And also the second parameter is null. The same thing we do to the text view. We call on the text one. We set the text to its position, and also we get its simple name, which is a method we'll be talking probably in other classes. The same thing we're going to do to the other text view, which is the text 2. We're going to set this text based on the description IDs and its position. Okay, that's fine. Let's look at the ID token activity class. Okay, let me collapse this import. Okay, this is where we're going to be importing the GMS auth, API auth, and also the sign in, the sign out option, the sign in result, the connection results, the Google API client, and the status. Okay, we're going to extend app compat activity, and whereby we're going to implement the Google API client on connection field listener and view on click listener. Okay, we'll be talking about 4 fields: the tag, where we call on the ID token activity, the RC underscore get token, which we assign an integer 9002, the Google API client, we're going to give to an object called Google API client. We'll be using this, and the text view, ID token text view. Okay, we have onCreate method where we're going to call, where we set the views of the ID token view to the text view based on its ID detail. Now we're going to call on the button click listeners, the sign in button, the sign out button, and the disconnect button. We set on click listeners to those buttons. So for sample only, make sure there is a valid server client ID, which I've done. I'll take it quickly to where the client ID is. This is the client ID, is the code. The client ID we get from when we actually register the application, and we set up its credentials, and we've been able to generate this client ID through the OAuth credentials. Okay, that's fine. So we have the client, the ID token here based on the client ID, because it's the string from the client ID. Okay, so this is where we're going to do the Google sign-in, the Google sign-in options. Okay, now we're going to build the Google API client with the Google sign-in API and the above option. Okay, this is when we build its API client. Okay, we're going to get the token based on its intent, the Google sign-in API. You get the sign-in intent, and we start an activity for result. So it's going to pass in some values to the sign-in intent. Okay, we have another method called the sign out. This sign out is just going to call the Google API client, and it's going to call to the update UI first. We're going to revoke the assets. Okay, now is the auth Google sign-in API. We call on the revoke access based on its Google API client, and it's going to set the result callback just the way it did to the sign out. Okay, now on activity for results, where we're going to have three parameters: the request code, the result code, and the data from the intent. Okay, so we're going to set if the request code is equals to the RC get token. Okay, we're going to start the get ID token over here. Okay, so if the result is success, the sign-in account is going to get the result based on the sign-in account, and the string ID token will be equal to the account get ID token. So this is going to show the sign-in UI. Okay, that's when you're going to see the UI of the sign-in in focus. All right, let's look at the sign-in activity. Okay, because we won't be talking about all the sign-ins. Okay, the sign-in activity actually extends App Compat and implements the Google API client on connection failed listener and also the on click listener. The same thing, the same import we did for the user activity from the ID token activity rather, what we call on the GMS auth, the Google sign in, the Google sign out, its option, the API client. And also we're going to set the on click listener just the way we did also earlier. And this time we're going to call the profile ID, the basic profile are included in default sign-in, which is this. And we call on the default sign-in to the Google sign-in options. Okay, you're going to build a Google API client over here to access to the Google sign-in API and the options specified by GSO. Okay, now the sign-in button will be cast onto the view, which is the sign-in button, and the sign-in button will set the size. This is where you actually set the size and set the scopes. Okay, we have on start, calling on the super on start. So if the user cached the credentials are valid, the options pending result will be done. Okay, this is when we actually do this. Else, if the user has not previously signed on this device or the sign-in has expired, this is asynchronous branch we attempt to sign into the user silently. That's in the background. So it's going to show it a progress dialog, and it's going to sign it silently if it hasn't been signed in. That's just what that is going to do. So we have the on activity result where we actually pass in three parameters: the request code, the result code, and the intent data. So the result returned from the launching the intent from the Google sign-in API will just come over here. Okay, so this other method is going to handle is a private void. It's going to start and handle the sign-in request result rather. So we have also the start sign-in, which is the sign-in method where we're going to call on the intent and also call on the Google L sign-in API. These are all Google APIs to sign in into the application. We have the private void sign out. Okay, we also have the revoke, just like the one we did earlier. Now we have the connection failed. Okay, if the connections failed, what are you going to do? So in the progress dialog, they're going to set some message while it's loading. You're going to set the entire indeterminate and also show the progress dialog. This when is actually loading. So this is a show progress dialog method. Now it's finished. It's going to add a progress dialog. It's going to hide it. Okay. Afterwards, it's going to update the UI with design in view. That's just what that's going to do. So we have the on click method where we call on the ID sign-in button, where it's going to call on the method sign-in, call on the ID rather. So we have another ID called sign out, which is going to call on the method called sign out if it is sign out button, and also the disconnect button is going to call on the revoke access method. All right, I'll be launching this into my Genymotion emulator so that we will see the different modes of signing, and also we're going to be able to know what actually suits our application and the kind of signing we're going to do in our course of our coding or in the course of building our application. Okay, due to one reason or the other, my Genymotion doesn't run this application because Google Play service is quite absent from it. Okay, but I've actually tested it on a real device, pending the time when I'll be able to fix that. So I have the screenshots over here. Okay, whereby you can also do your testing on a real device or on a Genymotion or emulator that has Google Play services installed. That's very important. Okay, this is the first layout of the application, whereby we have the sign-in activity, the sign in without, the sign in activity with Drive, the ID token activity, and the server auth code activity. Okay, all these form of activities are different sign-in forms. Okay, whereby I actually tested for the sign-in activity and the sign-in activity with Drive in this screenshot. Okay, this is for the sign-in activity. You have this kind of UI, whereby you have the Google sign-in quick start. You can modify this, change it to what you want. But this is the button that is quite important. So you click on this button, will take you to this kind of interface where it's going to actually ask you to choose the kind of account you really need. It's just like your Gmail login, whereby you can add 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of accounts. Based on if you know the password, you put it in. You're going to have your account listed, so you can easily add an account, or you click on the already created one. So I actually click on the already created one. So this takes me down to this interface where I'm going to allow Google to view your basic profile, or you can also allow Google to view and manage its phone configuration data in your Google Drive or unregistered Android application. So from this demo, you can build on this, or by after it might have login, so it's going to actually redirect to the page you want as the landing page or the continual page of the application. Okay, you can pick up my source code from my GitHub account, so you can actually use it in the course of the application, integrate it into your login platform, and have a smooth running Google login integration into Android application. Thank you very, very much for listening and hanging out with me throughout the session. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.